Hello. Today I'm going to talk about learning how to trock because apparently I don't know how to trock. I say shit silly. I'm going to talk about true crime today because true crime is one of my big addictions. Whether it's watching it on television, watching it on YouTube, watching it on my listening to it on my Apple Podcasts, all that stuff. So that's what I'm going to talk about today. Let's get into it. Hey everybody, welcome back to I Do Stand Up. I'm Jason Collings and I do stand up. Do it all the time. Do it as much as I can. Do it as much as you'll let me. Do it as much as I get booked. Doing it anywhere. Bars, coffee houses, laundromats, comedy clubs, theaters, arenas, cruise ships, hot air balloons. Never done stand up in a hot air balloon. But I do a lot of stand up comedy. And one of the things about this gig is we are on the road a lot. And we've talked about this on other episodes. So we spend a lot of time in our hotel room. And the thing that I love the most about being in a hotel room on the road is finding, I believe it's A&E or one of those channels that plays Forensic Files. Forensic Files is my favorite. I'll watch it all day. I'll watch it all day on the road. A lot of it has to do, I'll watch it at night after the show when I'm trying to go to sleep because of that host, his voice. I can't do his voice, but he's always saying the most horribly horrific things in the most relaxing tone of voice I've ever heard in my life. And then she was dismembered and her eyes were... I love true crime in so many weird different ways. One of the ones I'm watching and following right now is the case of Karen Reed. Karen Reed is this young lady. I call her young lady, but she's a woman. She's probably younger than me, but who's fucking counting? She apparently ran over or hit her boyfriend, rear-ended, backed her SUV up into her boyfriend in the dead of winter, the night of a crazy storm that was going to be happening in Boston, Mass. They were about to have one of their thickest ice storms on record. So this group of friends, including Karen Reed, her boyfriend, who was John O'Keefe. I think that was his name, John O'Keefe. What did John O'Keefe? Oh, yeah, John O'Keefe was her boyfriend. He was a police officer, and they all went out to party. Her, him, and it seems to me like all of his friends or co-workers. They're all cops. Now, the way the evening ended is they ended up going to, allegedly, going to a party at one of the other police. They were all at a bar, and one of the people in the group said, "Hey, boom, after hours, my house is fucking go." And her and her man went in a separate car. I don't know, but they got in a fight. They got in an argument. Basically, she ended up losing track of him in a drunken state. And I could be fucking this up, but I've been watching it. You understand, a lot of times when I'm watching true crime, it's background. I got it going on in the background when I'm working on some other shit. But this case is very interesting, and I keep going back to it. And basically at the end of the night, she backed her car into this guy, and he died from this, apparently, which is really bizarre to me because I've backed into things, and it's caused some pretty, insignificant damage to my car, like backing into a pole or backing into a tree, that kind of thing. But this killed him, and I don't think that's what happened, because I feel like in order for that to happen, she'd have been going really fast at some distance, picking up speed before she made contact with him. But she just had a busted taillight. Like a little piece of her taillight was cracked, and it looked like somebody hit it with a hammer. And so the mystery ensues. The next day, there's a whole investigation, and people they got their expert witnesses who are saying that yes, this man was struck by a vehicle, and then they got the other expert witnesses were like, these injuries aren't consistent with somebody getting struck by a vehicle. It's more like he was bitten by a dog, and blah 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 blah. I'm not going to go into the case, but what I'm going to go into is what I think is funny about this shit. None of it's funny. Dying isn't funny. Being murdered isn't funny. But sometimes people do fun. And by the way, I find funny in a lot of tragic things. I'm a crazy person. That's why I'm a stand-up comic. Listen, here's the shit that makes me crack up. Hey, if you're going to do one of these horrific things, if you're going to commit this horrific crime, delete your history. Delete your history on your Google searches. These people are leaving their Google searches up. They're leaving their texts up. They don't have their browser set to private. And all they're finding, and they don't realize that as soon as you walk out the front door, you're on camera. Hey guys, listen, just so you know, when you walk out your front door, smile, you're on camera. You got a neighbor across the street who's got a Ring camera. You got a neighbor next door that's got a Blink camera. You know what I mean? Then you get in your car and you drive 2 feet and you got a camera on the corner of the street looking at traffic. You are always on camera. You walk into the convenience store, you're on camera. You walk into the bank, you're on camera. The only place they aren't that we know of are bathrooms, which that's a whole different true crime in itself. But you guys are leaving this shit up, and these investigators, I feel like these days investigators don't even have to leave the office. They're like, oh, what's his Instagram? Got it. Okay, where do they live? All right. Got it. What's the phone number? Ooh, got it. Let's get that search history. Let's look at their text. Because there are these programs, or I don't know what they're called. They're like these. There is technology that the law enforcement uses that they can go and see your texts. They can see who you called and when you called them. They can see what you text and how long the text lasted. They can see when you called and how long that phone call lasted. This shit is easy to figure out because you morons aren't taking precautions. You aren't taking precautions after you did your horrible deed. And I just think it's crazy that every true crime story that I watch says, and then the bombshell, they found her Google search. And the very thing that she Google searched was how to kill my husband with a short-barreled shotgun. And that's how he passed. And so now he's got like people are screwing this up. And how it's affecting this case is some of the women that were involved in this seem to be covering it up for their men because their men are also police officers. The guy that was killed accidentally, police officer, and they are now. It's now being said that it's a conspiracy that they're trying to put the blame on her, make her the fall guy. Because what actually happened is that she dropped him off at his friend's house. He went in the house. Maybe he was beat up. Maybe he was attacked by their dog and then thrown out into the world after that. And they're like, oh my God, let's say she did it. And there's all kinds of crazy evidence happening right now. There's video footage of her car at the police station in the forensics lab where they're, and the video that they used in court was actually flipped. And it looks like they're fucking around with the tail light and breaking it themselves. There's all kinds of crazy stuff. And again, goes right back to what I'm saying. Even the cops didn't know. Yo, there's a camera in the upper corner of your lab that's watching everything you're doing. So we're all on camera, guys. That's why serial killers don't exist anymore. Serial killers don't exist anymore. And if they do, and I'm wrong, I don't give a fuck. I'm still gonna talk shit. But it's a lot harder. You know what I mean? Like remember the movie, if you don't know anything about this movie made in the late 70s, early 80s, it was called Halloween. And the murderer was Michael Myers. And he was walking around the streets with a freaking, mechanic's jumpsuit on and a crazy Captain Kirk mask, and just no one was saying shit. You know what I mean? Because you can hide behind a bush. And he was always hiding halfway behind a bush. Bling dum dum bling dum dum bling dum bling dum bling dum dum bling dum dum. Bling dum dum bling. And it's in the middle of the day, and it's this giant dude in a garage onesie and a Captain Kirk mask going, and then slowly walking after. But none of this. There was no cameras on the signals. There was no cameras at the intersections. There was no Ring cameras on the doors, front doors. The only camera footage that exists was like these really blurry VHS security shit from liquor stores that had lines going through the middle of it like this, you know what I mean? Like, and cops are surrounding it going, how the fuck are we supposed to figure out this? So it was an easier thing to be back then. You could be a crazy serial killer and get away with it. And there was no, and that's before they had DNA evidence and all that shit. And you could you could just be a menace. Now, you got DNA, you got, you know, fingerprints, DNA, and now you have what they call technical forensic evidence. Like there are forensic investigators whose sole gig is to investigate what's going on your phone and in your computer. I mean, it's almost impossible. And if you are a successful serial killer out there, turn yourself in. You're doing the wrong thing. But also, props. Can't be mad at the hustle. But yeah, man, this case with this Karen Reed, they're in the middle of their second trial now because they had a mistrial in the first trial, and they had all their a lot of the expert witnesses were like, we don't want them in the second one because it proves their case, and we're gonna lose. Because I personally think, I think there is something to the whole conspiracy of the other police officers taking him down, because there might have been something. I don't know enough about his background in the police department, but if I remember correctly, he may have been suing the police department for something. Anyways, if you guys want to get away with it, and I'm not trying to give advice on how to get away with bad shit, but look, man, stop Googling what you're going to do. Stop being on Walmart's security camera buying tarps and pickaxes and gloves, I mean, all these people are like, I don't know if I'm going to do it. Yeah, but sir, we found him with a pitchfork stuck up his ass. And if you look at this footage of you at Walmart, you're buying a pitchfork and lube. It's that kind of shit. So it's just so entertaining for me. It's just so entertaining for me. And I don't know why I'm a sicko like that, but then I realize I'm not alone. I'll tell somebody like, you know what I really love? I fucking love true crime. And then I was like, oh, me too. I love that shit. Why? Human beings, we love watching a car wreck. We love a car wreck. We love a train wreck. We love watching a train wreck. That's why everybody was so happy about Britney. And they're also happy about P. Diddy, by the way. Did he? He did. He definitely did that shit. It's trippy seeing the pictures of him in court with the gray hair. It's hilarious. He can't get a hold of his Just for Men. And now he's like trying to be a man of the people and shit. Damn, that whole case. Good Lord. How is he gonna win? I'm really curious to see the cross-examination of the witnesses against him by the defense, because the shit they're saying, man, woo, this motherfucker was nasty. He was greasy and lubey and oily. Ugh. But he didn't have a preference. That's another thing about Diddy. I'm realizing watching all this shit. Didn't have a preference. He didn't like women. Didn't like men. Liked them both. He didn't care what he was putting it in, just as long as it was lubed up, oiled, and ready to go. Disgusting. Sorry. But yeah, man. True crime on the road for comedians. I guarantee most comics will agree with me that they love watching that shit in the hotel room. We don't like walking around too much, especially if we're in the middle of nowhere. There's nothing to do, and I gotta walk 2 miles to get to the nearest Starbucks. I'm gonna be in the hotel room. If I'm in Chicago, I'm on the streets. If I'm in New York, I'm in the streets. If I'm in Boston, I'm in them streets. Don't run over me, Karen Reed. Don't back your SUV. Don't back your Infinity big truck into me, because I'm gonna be in them streets. Am I saying streets wrong? Probably. Yeah, if I'm in those kind of places, Miami, big cities, Atlanta, I'm in the streets. But if I'm in dirt clawed Iowa, hanging out at the Chuckle Bucket, I'm going to be in the hotel room watching some true crimes. I think I'm going to shorten this one up today. I just wanted to get that off. I'm watching. My eyes are blurred right now because I'm watching so much true crime. It's crazy. I love you. Thank you for joining me as always. Make sure you continue to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you know when a new one of these is coming. I'm Jason Collings, and I do stand-up. Bye.